balance is 36,000. This is bank balance, by the way. 36,365. Total cash balance is $38,120.11. We have spent $54,545 out of our $109,886 budget, leaving us with $55,341 or 52.76 remaining, percent remaining. We are currently within our budget in all areas. Hallelujah. Good job, y'all. For dues, for marching band, we received $24,026 out of the $54,073 expected, leaving us with $30,046 or 55.57% collect. On the concert jazz band dues, we received $513 out of the $3,244 expected, leaving us with a $2,731 or 84% to collect. On fundraising, our gross revenue for fundraising is $51,592. Our expenses are $18,538, leaving us with a net profit of $33,053. To date, we have raised 76.33% of our $43,302 goal.
All right.
Any questions or catch that? I read it fast.
I do have a question. How much do we raise from concessions? Did we break that out yet, or do we know?
It is broke out, just not here.
Do you remember off the top of your head? It was like a few $100?
Well, concessions, we had a $200 deposit and a $164 deposit, I think.
Okay. It's not nothing.
We spent, I think on one of them about $80 and about 70 on the other.
Okay.
So we made 100 or something.
Okay.
There we go.
And we provided hospitality.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, for the goal of that and being seen and being a venue that they'll want to use again, we did pretty well.
Think so?
About $160-ish. That's all I could get exactors.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, we could have done better probably with donations or something, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Okay,
Cool.
Awesome.
as long as I send them the invoice.
All right. We're going to do this in two steps. We have some more budget stuff, but first we want to kind of approve the budget report, I'm going to say, as a separate item, since this is the easy part. Motion to approve the budget report.
Ooh. Take your pick.
Same. Okay. Jason, would you like to describe the change that we'd like to make, which I think is just a good, I think is a good change. So
this is a budget adjustment request, we're calling it, because that just sounds cool. During our annual budgeting process, we planned to pay our marching show program coordinator in advance. We thought we had paid the coordinator out of last year's budget, but failed to do so. We currently owe Edwin Parker $2,000 for his services already provided. This oversight leaves us $2,000 short of being able to prepay for next year's program. So if you'll notice in the last 2 years, we've been trying to prepay some of the major things so that we actually get the product sooner, so that we're prepared sooner for marching. With your permission, the boosters' permission, we'd like to reallocate funds from the following budgeted areas that cover this oversight. Each of the areas are under budget, and we have verified that the remaining amounts are sufficient to cover projected expenses for the remainder of the year. We'd like to reallocate $1,000 from the truck rental subcategory of the transportation budget. We'd also like to reallocate $1,000 from the transportation travel subcategory of the transportation budget. If you remember, during our booster meeting in August, the boosters voted to approve a $5,000 increase to our transportation travel budget. That was expected to cover expected expenses that we were projecting for hotel and also food, but due to the awesomeness of our hospitality group and the National Guard who allowed us to hotel in their facilities, we are under budget in the travel account by about $5,500. So,
Good job, thank you guys.
very, very good job to those who are doing that. The $1,000 of excess budget we are asking to reallocate to pay the coordinator. We would like to propose that we remove $4,000 of the $5,000 that was approved in August from the budget. Doing this will reduce the additional fundraising burden by that $4,000 and put us closer in line with our original budget. So our original budget was $104,000 and change. This would put our budget to $105,000 and change. So to review, what we're asking for is to reallocate $1,000 from truck rental and $1,000 from transportation travel over to our program coordinator subcategory, and then remove that $4,000 from the total.
So overall, it's actually just a reduction of the top line budget numbers with this other just shifting of some of the budget priorities based off of actual realized savings from marching season for the most part. So, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah. Points of discussion?
What does that do to next year's budget for that?
Next year's budget will build next year.
Yeah.
But if we make more than, what this does is reduces our amount we need to raise to cover it. It also makes it to where we remove it so we don't just spend it.
So you have the ability to pay him, do you still have the ability to prepay for next year for that?
The reason we're asking for the 2,000 is because that's what we were short for the prepay. So the money for the prepay would still be there.
So the 2,000 is just gonna sit for y'all till next year?
So,
Part of what we're moving?
so no, what we're moving, the 2,000 will pay our program coordinator. The amount that's in the budget currently would stay, and in the spring, we would pay next year's program coordinator.
Yeah.
So they're prepaid in advance.
So just like last year's budget, for those of you who were here last year, where we increased a lot of these line items to start the prepay cycle, we're just doing that for this item this year because it got missed,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yep.
So, all right.
Do it.
So motion to approve this budget change.
Motion to approve.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Excellent. All right. Moving right along. Am I next?
Yep, and it
Oh.
is the director's update.
Okay. Have some updates. I'm going to do them kind of in groups. I'm going to start with basketball. Started our basketball season with our teams last week. We were able to do. I wanted to do one girls game, one boys home game. The idea this year that we are kind of spreading the kids out into more equal groups to be able to do more games. So we had one girls game. We're going to have a volunteer boys game against El Dorado this Thursday, as long as we get enough to show our support. It's really great when they showed up for us at Zia, right? We have those pictures to show for that. So we're doing a little preseason fun. Again, volunteer. I'm keeping it light. Those people who need to do their homework can do their homework. So volunteer game. You will not, or you have not seen that on the schedule yet. I was trying to pick the most advantageous one. And so this Thursday sticks out as being easiest for the majority of students to come on their own. You will then also see that the rest of the basketball schedule for all the way up until February 23rd is on your band calendar. I should explain this. So there are 3 groups this year, and I'm trying to designate them as different than Team 1, Team 2, and Team 3 for TCR races. So when you're looking at the calendar, the quick way of knowing, right, so Team 1 or Team 2, those are race calendars. Those are TCR races. And I have the name, I have the shorthand. Hold on. Is just called Band 1 or Band 2, right? So that Band 1 or Band 2 is talking about basketball bands, and the percussion group is called percussion. Okay, and so that's going to be separate. That's a little bit different than the past years when all the percussionists were kind of going to all the games. There's going to be a single drummer for any of the band ones, and then the percussion as a group are going to have their own games, therefore splitting up the responsibility easier on the kids for this year. So any student should only really have 2 basketball games. Two or 3 basketball games for the next couple months. Yes, Dorothy?
So the ones for the percussion group,
Yes.
it'll say percussion on the weekly calendar?
Yeah, it'll start, so whatever thing it is, that'll be the first words you'll see.
Okay.
It'll say band one, basketball game, blah, 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 blah. It won't do it the other way around. It'll be right at the front so you can look at it, no brainer, oh, my kid's in band 2, or it'll just say percussion. And you go, okay, I know what that means.
And the percussionist that's there in band 1 or 2 will just be like cherry picked.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, rather than last year, the problems that we had is there were a whole lot that were showing up to some games and not to others. So I've thinned it out so that percussion have a clearer schedule, and the band as a whole has a lighter schedule during the spring semester. Something I've been trying to do. So that's basketball. Any questions about basketball season? Yes. It's all in the calendar. So everything's on the calendar if you look at it in.
Which kids and which bands she's saying?
Oh, the bands that'll be posted up right here on the wall.
Is it already done?
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm still have to divvy those up. I wanted to. Yeah, that list. So I'm telling you before the kids know which one. I'm seeing what we need instrumentation-wise, how the younger students are handling it, so I can break them up. And I'm going to use this Thursday to figure that out. Yes.
Can the students, like, pick which games they can go to as well, like add it on to?
Oh, this is really important because we do have basketball teams that tend to be successful. I imagine at some point that we are not going to be able to fit as many people on the bus as we want to. And so students that elect to do extra games will have first priority if the buses going to state are filled. Right, so we're going to fill it with those people who paid their time and then went to the most amount of games. Every student is welcome at every game. But know that no student is required to. If anybody's trying to get out of homework, oh, I have to go to this basketball game. I've intentionally done it so that they do not have to. If they have your permission and you can drive them, they are welcome at all games. So
if Sierra can't make it, that's fine too.
that substitutes similar to TCR race. So just making sure if your student can't make it, you have some obligation on that day. The schedule is out for the next 2 months. Right, so it's like have that substitute or find that person way in advance. And I'm very understanding. There was a student who tried to get something covered for a week straight for one of our races, talked to everybody, talked to family. In the end, wasn't able to, and that's okay, right? When we're really there, I'm not holding anybody to the fire for it.
Best
But
effort.
I want you to make your best effort for those. Basketball. Okay, that's going to be the next kind of 3 months of our sports lives for us, but lighter than last year. Home practice push. So I've been talking to the students about taking their instruments home, and I want to have a quick conversation about it. I realize something that I don't consider often enough is what sort of environment they have, or space, or sound environment that they can practice within. And so I'm asking parents to just be a little more open to their students playing 10, 15, 20 minutes a day. Our goal right now across the program is for 30 minutes a day for 6 days a week. And our baby step, I told them about building habits, successful habits. And so that's kind of the lesson is, how do you build a successful habit for whatever goal? And I asked them, I said, well, how do you get to practice? Well, you got to just do it. And no, take your instrument home. So you should see, if you guys can help me, quite literally, I have told them for the next 6 days to take it home and not do anything with it. Literally nothing. Take it home, put it on their bed, and not touch it. To build the habit of taking this instrument out of their lockers, bringing it home. And the next step is going to be to set it out. And it might be that you have a clarinet sitting on your table. If you're patient with me, it'll make sense in the end, because then they have to set it up every single day. And we're going to get these baby steps to where they feel comfortable, to where everybody in the family feels comfortable. If there's a dog or an animal that doesn't feel as comfortable with what it sounds like, I'm trying to edge this in naturally rather than telling the kids, hey, you didn't practice enough. I don't feel that's fair. I wouldn't do the same if I were to give them an exercise regimen. And so I'm going to do the same thing I would do if I was teaching someone how to run a marathon. Baby steps, put the shoes on, walk around your house, come back inside, take the shoes off type of stuff. So that's a real push. I would like the help of all the parents for this. That's our next step. People practicing at home. We've seen individual success with Allstate. We're seeing way more people audition. We're seeing way more people want to do Southwest Honor Band. And I want to continue that trend by getting everybody who isn't so far yet practicing. Yes?
So what percussion, like if I has a bell set and a practice pad, would that be what she would use?
The bell set and the practice pad. Percussion, and again, percussion is an overwhelming majority. The band hall is always open at 7. Sometimes I'm here maybe a couple minutes after 7:05, and it is always open until 4 o'clock every day if you can allow them to practice maybe 10 or 15 minutes on a keyboard. But pad, keyboard, totally fine. Moving right along.
Yeah, I'm monitoring for questions.
My own, I know that the committee has their own conversation about the luminarias. I'd like to tell you what I'm telling the students in the morning. So luminaria selling tactics. And this is something that I thought about. I was like, why might they not be interested in it? And I turned it into a game. And I said, really, I want you guys, I spoke to them several mornings in a row, and I said, why should anybody buy it from us? We kind of got serious, and they're like, well, I don't know why. And so I started having kids saying different things, best folded, or, best on the west side, or whatever. And encouraging them, think of anything that is honest, and maybe skirting. You can say you have the best that you think of in the city, or, you know what I mean? And because we know that there's a bunch of other people out there, having fun, being creative with it, getting the word out about it is one of my big things, right? I think there was a misunderstanding. Our goal is 14 per, because that gets us to where we're going to go. Not everybody's going to sell that, and some people are going to oversell that number. I really want this to be, and it should remain as a fundraiser that is kid-centered. If you help fold those luminaria bags, some of them look very neat, and so I probably assume that a lot of parents helped out with those. Thank you so much. But try to put as much as you can just on them to, if they're going to throw flyers. I have flyers that I put by the door. You just want to put them in mailboxes. This first year, in terms of selling, is building our basically our base of people. In the future, we'll collect those numbers, and eventually selling will be just on the phone. There won't be any walking. There won't be any going anywhere. Each kid will have a list of previous people they sold to, and we build those lists until we reach a number that we like. So we've been talking about those selling tactics and ways that they can talk and hype it up. And, we're probably one of the only ones that's selling it with the nice custom flats that'll say Hawk Band on the side. I told them, talk about your 10-hour candle. Nobody knows how long a candle lasts. Just say that ours lasts 10 hours. They don't have to know that anybody else's lasts 10 hours as well. Yeah, we have the cleanest, we have the cleanest sand. We got the straightest bags. We got the clearest luminescence, whatever. But honestly, being silly with it and fun is kind of how I want them to have it. Thing number 2 that I'd like everybody to understand about this fundraiser, I think if we look at it as 1,000 luminarias that are sold in 1s and 2s, we will absolutely never make our goal. I like to think of in my mind, and if this helps you maybe shoot for targets, people who buy 1 or 2 dozens, that's generally like a tip of the hat. Like, here's good for your program. 4, 5, and 6, those are people that are willing to pay us to do something that they could do themselves. 7 up, that's when people don't want to make them themselves. And those are the people that we want to find. The students that have now folded 12 dozen each or had family members know the 8 to 10 or whatever hours it takes to do this. And then they put themselves in the shoes of the people who are buying it. That person who has a very nice yard that's selling 12 dozen, they do not want to make their own. They're not going to. Those are the people that want to buy from us. So really finding those, the 14 dozen that you're selling should be 1 or 2 people. It shouldn't be 14 separate people. That's going to really bog it down. If you really feel that, say you're taking it to work or in your workplace, that you're trying to help your student out and you're trying to sell 1 by 1 to everybody, I don't want to tell you not to show those people, but just show them a flyer. Don't try to sell to those people. Find the people that want 8 and above, and that's really going to make the bulk of what we're selling. So just a helpful hint or a helpful thought if you're looking out for people. If you were going to deliver flyers into a neighborhood, into mailboxes, find ones with bigger yards. Plain and simple. We were talking about before that the South Valley, right, where you have people who have more ranch-style homes, those are people who are going to buy luminarias and set them out, right? When you're going down a neighborhood where people don't have backyards or front yards, it's less likely. So if you were to spend some time, maybe locate one of those places. If the same neighborhood gets 20 flyers from us, well, they know that we think they should buy. And just leave it at that. There shouldn't be, I really want anybody that's feeling it to not feel this on it. I have to sell these things. There are people who want it already, and it's the people who don't want to make their own. If you're selling ones and twos, you're gonna feel the grind. Those calls are the hardest, right? Don't try to convince someone to buy one or two. It's finding those larger ones. Last thing for me is going through what I'm just gonna call Band Week. So that's next week. We have something almost on every single day. Monday, Southwest Honor Band auditions. If your child is auditioning for that, it's at school during class. You don't got to do anything. No fee, other than if they make it, it's a $60 registration fee. Tuesday, I'm calling it our band showcase, as we do have our percussion ensemble, as well as our color guard. The concert is going to start in the gym. Concert's going to start in the gym. And we're going to get here. If everybody here and online would help me with that. The Winter Guard deserves a space to do what they're supposed to do, and the stage has never been adequate for them to be able to perform correctly. So we're going to start over there. We'll have their showcase. I'm also going to have, I think, the marimba band, the percussion ensembles. They'll do it in the gym, and that way, on the transition back, kids will sit down on their seats, and it will be a very natural exchange. But we will be starting in the gym for the concert next Tuesday. Wednesday, Chamisa Elementary, we're doing a public performance. This is actually the first of hopefully many where we're reaching out to the elementary schools in order to help recruit for 6th grade band. The idea being that over the past 4 or 5 years, even tracking before I was here, fixing 8th grade to 9th grade retention is really hard if they were never sold out in the first place. So we're taking our first stab. We were invited to Chamisa Elementary. We're going to play for half an hour or so. It is going to be in their gym. I told the students this morning, I'm going to go and see the gym. I don't quite know how many kids we need. It is very likely that it'll be volunteer or the wind ensemble. Just keep your eyes out on the calendar. I'll send out another update for who that's going to be. But it's a small space. It's a small space. They did ask, well, when I don't think they realize how loud our band is. And I said, I got about 73 people, and they're like, yeah, they'll fit on one side of the gym. And I think the gym's about like the size of this band hall. And so I thought, so we're probably going to take 15, 20, 25 kids. We'll play some music, have some stand tunes, only a few drums. They said that there are some special needs students that they don't want to have over sensory load, some stuff like that. So no, it's on the calendar. I don't have better details simply because I didn't realize that it was inside. And I don't mind that rather than being cold outside. So we are going to be inside to better showcase to the elementary school students. So listen for updates for that.
How will the kids be there?
That's just going to be kids on their own. So that'll be kids on their own going to Chamisa Elementary. This is an evening performance. Evening performance on Wednesday. Yeah, that is an evening community performance next Wednesday. We'll go from about students, again, I don't know exactly who. I need to see the space so that I can ask. But we will be there about 4:45 until about 5:45. So short afternoon, play for a little bit. It's for their carnival. They're having like their elementary school carnival. Last on the list, we have 2 things on Friday. We have our jazz band concert that we are playing at request of one of our band members' parents. The jazz band was hired, I guess you could say, to play at the Christmas concert for his church. And so they're going to be making a donation to the band. They usually hire local jazz members. And so he asked, can we make a donation to the band, and can you guys provide entertainment? We said, absolutely. So that'll be happening next Friday. On the calendar, just so I can say the name, it's going to be at the New Beginning Church of God on 4770 Montgomery Boulevard with Volcano Vista Band Entertainment. Lastly, the last 2 things is that is our last day for Luminaria sales, and then Saturday is Luminaria Day, which I will save for the committee to talk about. Any questions about all of the updates? Our band week that's happening next week. any concerns about anything happening in band so far that you would like to bring to me, or that haven't been brought up otherwise?
The time, Leslie, the time is on the calendar, but I think you said it was like something like 4:45. No, it's not on the calendar yet. You were saying it would be
Time-
like early evening
For which?
for Chamisa.
It is on the calendar.
It is?
Yeah, so it'll 4:40 till about 5:30.
Oh, marching, you said, it says marching band for me. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna meet like marching band stand tunes.
Yeah.
And the jazz band concert, are they coming here, and are you taking them by bus, or?
Directly to the church, directly over. That's an evening concert as well, so transportation on their own. Yes.
Do you have a listing of who's in which bands, so I can make sure to have their uniforms ready?
Oh.
For concert band stuff.
So especially for like Tuesday performances.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll put that down. If you give me a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any clarification on where things are happening?
What if they can't attend?
Their concert. This is our end of the year. This is our end of the year concert.
Sierra has a basketball game that same day, that same time.
Our concert was at the beginning of the year, scheduled. So we've had it scheduled since July. Any others? Before I forget, uniform numbers, is there a better way?
Well, people, not the number, I think who the people are, like, because I know that not everyone is everyone that's in the band normally in concert
Mhm.
and ensemble?
Yeah. There are a couple added. I think
Those on the list, I just need to, for those people, I need to get them sized.
Yes. So yeah, there are 3 people. Excuse me. I believe there's only one person that you've never met before that's in that concert band class. Others are ones that have been in there before and have already been sized in previous years.
If it was previous years and it wasn't this year, then I'd have to size them still.
Okay, that's totally fine.
I
So
will be here tomorrow,
list.
and I can come Thursday.
What time tomorrow?
Tomorrow I could be here by, tomorrow.
That's okay. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll get you a list and we'll go ahead and work together. Any others? I'll work with that directly with you.
All right, just to keep things moving along, one quick announcement. It's an important announcement, so I wanted to put it up front of the board items, is that we are going to be shortly here missing one of our executive board members. Charlene is asking to step down from the treasurer spot, and so we will need somebody to fill that role. It is something that I really would love to have a parent of an underclassman fill, ideally, but I'll take anybody. It's the easiest job of the executive board members to do. So we don't need to act on that today, but I just wanted to put the information out there, and I'll probably also email out asking if anybody wanted to step up and put themselves forward as taking that role. It's basically, you're in on some of the internal executive board communication. You might occasionally get to vote on one of the smaller budget item changes and then taking notes at these meetings.
That's secretary, not treasurer.
Secretary,
I got really
secretary,
excited for a second.
secretary. Did I not say secretary? If I said treasurer, that is not correct. Nope. We need,
Yeah, you're talking about him and he's right there.
nope. My bad. And then we're gonna go and talk to the 3 fundraising committees, starting with Hawks Walk and Run.
Are there any
Can we
updates?
skip?
Okay, no
That's
updates.
what we talked about with Angelique and her talking to her people.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say you have here on the,
The Hawks Walk and Run
Yeah.
and car show?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been working on formatting, the layout, with Mr. Lee and my husband, and it looks like we will have about 104-ish premium spots. And then the student lot will be used as a secondary spot, if we need overflow.
and
How do they sign up to bring their cars?
So we're still working on a lot of the details, the flyer and all of that. We're just trying to figure out how many cars we can fit in the layout and not block the traffic flow of the racers. So that was a big mistake, and not be in the fire lane as well.
Yep.
Okay, so then as soon as that's done,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
probably.
Get some
Okay,
more
perfect.
information out soon.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Maybe January meeting.
We just had on the agenda that we need a car show rep. Is that Angelique? Okay, awesome.
As I said, whenever she started working, cause she said she knows people.
Awesome. Okay. Then moving on to, this is just the order was on the agenda, is jazz dinner dance updates.
Okay, don't have a lot, just, we're still working on some catering quotes and things like that, it's early. But the one thing that, I wanted to just have mentioned early is anyone within the band community who knows any business that might want to donate something for the silent auction or door prizes, we want to get out and start, we're gonna start collecting those earlier, starting like right after the holidays. But if anybody, like even in the immediate band family has a connection, they can.
That's
you
good.
know, Make that contact early.
Okay, I can send out an announcement about that. If I don't, please remind me.
Okay.
Yes.
In the announcement, like, I know you're saying after the holidays, but a lot of people, like, well, we do because, okay, I'm lazy. We'll go buy gift cards for putting someone's car or this or that. And I think it would be, for me personally, I can be like, I'm buying $150 of gift cards and, oh, by the way, do you guys have anything you can donate to my band for the spring thing?
That's fair.
And sometimes, whatever, give me 20, give me whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how I got some
Ideas.
of mine last year, but,
Awesome.
That's,
I mean.
yeah. No, that's a good
just like
point
a-
since
just
now
like an
is,
FYI, because some people spend a lot of money on gift cards. I mean, and whatever, a business, a restaurant, yeah.
Yeah, they give you that extra one.
And even if they do, I mean, it's just a thought.
maybe,
And
yeah.
It's the end of the year, so then we need some tax write-offs.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe that's something, yeah, could the committee maybe look into that? So like the kind of close post-ish
Or we can
holidays.
Send out that email, and include that,
Yeah,
donation letter or something, because, I mean, I don't know, just
Yeah.
to maybe
Mm-hmm. okay.
light a fire.
No, that's great. I like that. Yeah, because we make money from the ticket sales, but our big items, and really glad that last year, right, we had so many teachers show up, and they were very, very happy with it, so.
The auction did great last year, so.
Yeah, that's, I did talk,
Good stuff.
keep it very, very short. Last year, Cleveland does it as well. That's the director I kind of take it from. They have a whole different clientele, but they had like an insane. They had like their craziest donation year. It was like the silent auction was like $20-something thousand.
Wow.
Like they never get it, but they like started asking random people. So that's the only to say that that's the place where we can make have some success.
Yeah,
So thank
and
you.
if we can have them early enough that we can advertise those early.
The items, yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
that's
in case
nice, yeah.
Yeah.
people just
On the
walked in
flyer.
and this is what we had.
Yeah.
We noted a few things early on, but it'd be cool to be able to advertise them early.
Love that. Is that in the? Did you add that to the notes?
Yeah, so I have my own notes there.
Oh no, and I'll because I'm gonna look back at it later to make sure.
Yeah, so we're gonna send out, that if people could start now looking for donations for our Jazz Dinner Dance Silent Auction, that would be beneficial.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So the big one coming up though, obviously, is Luminaria fundraiser. We have a week and change to go. Guess what? Talk about what we need to do. We have a good list of to-dos still, but,
The list has gotten smaller, but we're just basically waiting for that date. We did accomplish a lot. Last week, we were able to order candles.
Yep.
Pretty soon. Other than that, just, I have the students have their list to call,
Mhm.
keep pushing forward, to that goal or even more.
We had an idea, because right now there's only 4 delivery drivers signed up, and we were thinking maybe if we could give like a gift card for gas or something, but we're gonna need more than 4 delivery
We
drivers.
need a lot more than that.
So
we need
we
about
weren't
20.
sure how that was gonna work out, like you were talking about like 1 or 2 dozen sold, I mean, how is all of that gonna sort of tease itself out?
So, well, it tips right now with our numbers sold will actually be fine. So the estimated amount Estimated amount that a truck can take at any given time is about 30 dozen. Because on the flat of a bed, you can get about 12 to 15, and you fold the top over neatly and you place them on top. So 4 drivers will make it, because that's only 2 trips per driver. And over the course of that time, that'll actually work out okay. Now, if we have a huge influx, I'd say if we break the 500 mark, that's when we need another. But consider that over a 6-hour period, each driver can make about three loads of 30 dozen each. So I think right now we're okay with 4. Yes. Yeah. So.
There's 2 guys right there.
Yeah, and that was only, again, I didn't want to assume.
Deliveries, but yeah.
Yeah, for like if we have some of the bigger ones in a certain area. So that's definitely one. So I'm actually okay with the 4. The 4 drivers will be okay. I do believe that they have to be compensated in some way, being the specific drivers. But again, even on the, I'm sorry.
I'll give them a pat on the back.
There you go.
But yeah, that's about what it works. Even on the small side, if you have a short bed truck, you'll get about 20 dozen in. But still, I think with those 4 drivers, right, the 340 that I think we'll get to, that's 17 trips. Divide that up, that's 4 trips per. Should be okay.
So Dorothy let us know today that the SAT is donated.
So I had talked to his office, and they were like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you tell old Kurt, you know.
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, yeah, okay, we'll give you the family price. So it was 18 a ton.
Okay.
And then I called Kurt and talked to him directly, and he's like, I said, oh, yeah, I need it at the school, you know. And he's like, oh, it's for the school? Oh, I'm just gonna donate you the sand. You know,
Oh, good.
So that's
Fantastic.
always a plus.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm just checking
And
things
that's
out.
for that'll cover 1,000.
He's bringing me 10 tons of sand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can
That'll
we
be.
save it?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Now build behind our building
Well,
on the side.
The funny
I'm
thing
not
is,
kidding.
yeah, really, we just push it to the side of the band lot and
Yeah.
it sits there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, funny story, break it up is we did, I think my house when I was growing up, we did somewhere between 1,500 to 2,000 dozen. And there was a lot of extra sand, and so we re-landscaped. They're not gonna take it back, but yeah, we'll just put it off to the side.
Yeah. Anyway,
Numbers wise, we have 202 dozen sold. So we like to maybe double that in the last 10 days here.
Yeah.
Of delivery orders, though, there's only 18 distinct delivery orders, accounting for 87 dozen.
So, oh yeah, so I
the
didn't
4
even.
drivers is more than enough for that.
oh,
And like, for example, I haven't signed up for driving yet, but I was kind of waiting to see what we
me
needed.
too.
And so we can add some drivers last minute if we need to.
We'll keep trucking along if we can. Yeah, well, we have a long list. Do you mind holding? Yeah.
Is there anything else the committee wants to talk about?
Okay.
Just one more piece in terms of like the food that's being planned. We're assuming, you said you wanted all of the students to show up.
Mhm.
Are you still looking at that number, or do you know there's people are gonna be gone, or so they know about how many people to make sure they plan food for?
As of right now, I haven't had any student. I've actually the ones that said they couldn't be there were able to fix their schedule. Many hands will make light work for the building part of it. I mean, the nice thing is we have good weather. We can build them all
Yeah.
in an hour or so. We have, I don't know, I'd estimate there's about 40 soup cans, and honestly, that's probably max. I guess everybody can keep their soup cans because we'll have 20 people filling sand, 20 people putting in candles, 20 kids putting them in, and then 15 kids loading, and that's the 75-ish in our band. 83 is total. So yeah, I'd
If there's
still plan
extras,
for the.
What we might want to do is have it be in shifts because we need to have sort of be open for
Mhm.
people to come pick up their non-delivery orders
Mhm.
for enough time in the middle of the day that
Yeah,
so some people could go home early. Some people could come later and just hang out and
yeah,
make sure people get the luminarias.
yeah. It's I hate to say, but it's yeah. It'll be a little bit play it by ear. Again, because if we make them all and then just picking up in shifts once we make those deliveries. The other thing is, I mean, Like I really only need to be here for the pickups. So there doesn't need it. Once they're made, the making them is the hard part. The making them and loading them in the trucks. Once those are delivered, we're good to go. And I mean, we just have a person there with the table and we check people out. And we can actually, because we're doing it on the band field, we open up both gates and basically it's a drive-through. They drive up, put in the back seat, and they drive out the other way.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Do signs that day so people who are going for pickup know where to go?
Yeah, so we'll probably have to make some signs.
Could you get some butcher paper?
Yeah, so we'll get some butcher paper on the last week, at the very end of finals, or excuse me, after the concert. I'll use a little bit of one of those mornings and get the kids to design some stuff when they're not preparing for auditions. Yep, that's a good one. Yes?
I know you have a, desired amount you would like to sell and stuff, but what's the number that is actually going to be where you guys break even, where you're gonna be like at the point where, you're on the profit level,
So-
going towards
That's a
Yeah.
complicated question.
Yeah, so there's a lot in here. So what we're looking at is that and I have my note here. So overall, what we want to think about this fundraiser as is that we're making $10 per dozen. When added out, $2.40 per dozen for candles, 30 cents per dozen for sand, $1.52 for the tray that goes underneath, and bags are 38 cents per dozen. Comes out to $4.60 plus taxes that you get from online. We're getting $10 profit per. We have overbought our supplies intentionally. For instance, our trays. We bought 1,500 trays. I'm pointing back to Carla because she helped with this. So for instance, the trays, we bought 1,500 because our cost per tray came down from about $2.10 down to $1.08. Now, does that cost also more money? Yes. We overbought candles because buying in bulk often helps, right? And then if we have extra, we made the decision as a board. We had a conversation about it and just made the decision to buy forward. So some of these are the boosters buying supplies forward.
Be careful with them candles, because they'll melt.
Very true. Yeah. To be more poignant to your question, the number to break even for all of the supplies that we have sold, so that means that even the overbought supplies are paid for, is 344 dozen. Okay? Our actual break over, if we're thinking about that we have 500 per year, right? Now we bought twice as many candles. That candle order was about 2,000. And this is me doing some rough math in my head. Just assume that number is closer probably about to 250 if you take away the extra candle costs, probably $800 and about maybe $1,000 from the flats. So think $1,800, take off, divide that by 12. Math head, 140. Help me, somebody, if you need, but at least 100 less. So that number is really 244 if we're looking at supplies that we made this year versus supplies that we sold. I know that's a complicated question. It's complicated because we bought in bulk, which saves us money in the long term. Is there a potential for us to be in the red for this year? Yes, because we have overbought supplies that are then used in forward years. We folded 1,000 dozen. You can see them up here. Are we going to use every single one of them? Probably not, which means when we come to next year, you're not folding 12 dozen each. Maybe it's 5 dozen each. So hopefully that answers the full of the question. Yes?
Will we be selling on pickup day? Like if people drive it by, they're like, oh.
We can. Yeah, we can. I've never seen anybody do it. We definitely, I mean, we're out there for long enough we can, and that's one of the other reasons we have the kids there. Because say someone comes up, wants a huge order, we got 75 kids, each folding a bag. It takes a minute to fold a bag. So you got 75 kids folding a bag. We're folding 75 bags, and then we make that order right there. So that is very possible. I've never seen it happen, but who's to say?
If the butcher paper's free, we can put a sign up on the road and see what happens.
Yeah. We put them up. We do. I should mention this. We do have a table at the craft fair that I believe was donated to us. Thank you for that. A couple of the kids are going to be there. We'll have our QR code out. We're selling the number goes up by about 20 every night. And still there are many of the other students not in this room. I've been told by many that they just literally haven't tried. And it's like, well, go ahead and try. They're like, I know I could sell, I have like 15 dozen that I'm going to sell. Well, please sell. Because it's this group of people that cares about you that it matters to. So there are many more to be sold. I think there's even 20. There's 20 that were paid in cash that we have in that number. So we're actually okay. I still think that if we really push, we can get around that 500 mark. And then everything past that 344, right? So you have 156. We're making that much profit at $10 per. Right.
And we'll be in the green this year, and then we won't need to buy supplies unless we
Not as many,
anticipate
right.
selling
Exactly.
way more next year. It's just running the, so we essentially, because of the economics of it, have committed to doing this at least one more time.
Yeah. And so that's why I broke it down for it's $4.60 cost per dozen, and we are selling them at $15. I believe I don't know if everybody puts the crates or the trays underneath them. Ours are also custom printed. So those are a couple of those things that we can brag about for our stuff, right? And they're easy to move around, right? When you get them left at your door, it's not just bags. You can set them up whenever you want, right? Well, we're getting them so early, right? These are things that are genuine points of sale. You can store them wherever you need. They neatly fold up in your back of your closet, under a porch, and they get reminded of Hawk Band every time they walk by. So, questions hopefully answered. Day of sales, yes, that's our per cost. 344 is the amount of dozen to break even for all the supplies purchased. And well, actually even a little bit less now that we have donated sand. That cuts out, $300, $400 of the overall cost, which is another, 15 dozen. Yeah. So I think that's it.
Thank you all. We're almost done here. We wanted to do a spring trip review. And is there anything you want to say more about the spring trip? Just that reminders. I think the dates have been sent out for when the payment schedule is for if you already signed up for the trip. You can still sign up for the trip if you essentially pay up to that point. And I think last time we spoke that we said there's going to be a date which you would not be able to do that sometime. Maybe in January of next year, where we'll have to
Probably
commit.
like middle of January, because we gotta get the tickets for the train.
Yeah, so if you're still thinking about the spring trip, you still have time, but maybe only a couple months. Is there anything else you want to say about the spring trip?
No, that's it. Yep.
Okay.
Just excited that we're doing it, and thanks for everybody for supporting it.
All right, our next meeting.
Like, real quick, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
For the Luminarias, I haven't seen the QR code and what questions it asks, but does it ask for email by chance?
Yeah, so we have, because they're only buying online, they have to give email and phone number, and if they choose delivery, we get their address.
Okay, I was just thinking instead of, like the signs for the day of, you can also email everybody who ordered
Mhm.
a map of how you want the flow to go ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll definitely gonna email all the non-delivery orders of the times and the location they can pick them up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm,
just didn't see that on here, so I wanted to, that's why.
so yeah, and so the sand's gonna get dumped over by the marching field?
Mm-hmm.
Do we wanna have the pickup set up over here by
I just need
the?
a general location, because that gate's always open. like
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
year.
Pickup and everything's over there. Nothing,
all by the
nothing's in the
marching
band hall. Yeah.
Okay. I was just thinking the pickup lane here, but
No.
Oh no, they're gonna drive onto the field.
on the field. Okay.
Yeah, they'll literally drive in the gate now.
I can make a map of where to pick it up. That'll be easy.
This is so they know.
I'll put that on my to-do list.
That map that you make, send it to me so I can send it to Kurt and tell them where to drop that sand.
Okay. Yeah, where on the field do you want them to drop the sand specifically? I guess
I'll
once
tell
they-
them when they get here.
Once they come, we'll do. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next meeting is going to be January 8th. Hope it'll just be a breakdown of how the Illuminati fundraiser went and gearing up for the spring semester.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, did we have other
Sorry.
band leadership?
Oh, yeah, that wasn't on the agenda, but we can. Does BLT
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
have anything you want?
There's nothing planned right now. But I will talk tomorrow to band council about, what to plan for food. So that's just the only thing that's on our schedule.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Any other questions before we close up shop?
I will say if you have any questions about any Allstate things, those emails were sent out, but I'll take those on an individual basis since they don't apply to everyone.
All right, all. Motion to close the meeting?
Motion to close.
Second? All right, thank you. A million people. Thank you so much, all.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Okay.
These are the drivers, they have to be used by the end of the month.
Ooh, for Revel.
Sure.
I love that.
Okay.
And even though the Pizza 9 says the east side one, they use it at the west side one.
Cool. Awesome.
Sweet. I will keep those, and yeah, why not? Jason, do you want the card back? Or Amanda, do you want your card back while I think about it?
Are you trying to think of addresses?
Yes.
Okay, so you have Master Travis ready, you sent her an email.
Uh-huh.
No, because I'm gonna make them after I see how people are playing for Thursday. There's, you weren't at the game on.
But I'm gonna go to Phil's.
I didn't get a Santa Fe
Gotcha.
address.
Yeah, I don't have them made yet because
Her plan was to pick them up
I might have to do something weird with the
What
trumpets,
name?
and so I don't want to put it out there and then
without knowing our.
tell everybody. Sorry, I have to redo it.
Chavez,
Okay. All right. I'll teach you trumpet.
so I told her I would just talk with you. I don't think
Yeah. Because
J. Rod's your husband, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Margaret Chavez.
Apologize. He was asking the cost. I'll bring it up for you right here. Because I just had my sticky
Margaret
note, but he
Chavez.
was asking
Oh,
what
yeah,
the
she's the-
total.